Okay, we'll now move to item number 12, the interim urgency ordinance of the City of Lake Elsinore establishing a 45-day moratorium on the establishment and operation of all marijuana manufacturing activities pursuant to Government Code Section 65858.
The city attorney will give a brief overview of that. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The item before you, as the Mayor's recited, is an interim urgency ordinance that would establish a moratorium on marijuana manufacturing activities. The existing Lake Elsinore Municipal Code establishes a ban on dispensaries, but allows for use, cultivation, and similar activities consistent with state law. The city code does not presently evaluate or specify any particular zones for these kinds of marijuana manufacturing activities, things like growing, drying, farming, packaging, processing, warehousing, manufacturing, and wholesaling of medical marijuana. In order to properly address these kinds of uses and to evaluate their impacts, and provide appropriate time to study as to which would be the appropriate zones, what kinds of conditions, and so forth. Staff is recommending that the City Council impose an interim moratorium to give us that opportunity. The California Government Code does allow for this type of moratorium. Initially, the moratorium can't exceed 45 days, depending on the status of our study and staff's report back to Council. There may be an opportunity for an extension of that moratorium if additional time is needed after a noticed public hearing and some other procedural requirements. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Are there any questions of staff at this time? Okay, Madam City Clerk, do we have any written requests to speak on this item?
Yes, Mayor, I actually have 7 speakers for this item.
Okay. Our first speaker?
Okay. First speaker would be James Stacy, and after James Stacy, Joe Wilcox.
Thank you for letting me speak. 13 years ago, the voters of California passed Proposition 215. For the city to pass a 45-day moratorium at this time to look for regulations is inappropriate. Lake Elsinore has had 13 years to deal with this issue. There are cities such as San Francisco, Oakland, and Palm Springs that have working models that can be implemented with little or no time. The Attorney General has issued guidelines for this as well. This is really a simple question of whether we want to have legal collectives or cartels. We are asking that you stop illegal drug dealers and allow the sick and dying access to a medicine that has been recommended by a licensed doctor. For many, this is the only medicine that works for them. Supporting any moratorium is supporting organized crime. The people of California spoke 13 years ago. It is time you listen. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker.
The next speaker is Joe Wilcox, and then after that, Kathy Thimbault.
Just as a general rule, we ordinarily don't clap during public comments. We save that sort of behavior for presentations and seminars. Okay, thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Mayor, City Council, I'm Joe Wilcox from Bonsall, Illinois, or excuse me, Bonsall, California. And I have been retired for 2 years due to a medical condition. I have leukemia. I had leukemia for over 2 years now, and between the process of going to the doctor, going to the hospital, everything has become a financial burden. Pharmaceuticals have become more of a financial burden for us who with insurance still can't get the medication we need. During my chemotherapy process, I have quite a time with nausea. Also, my appetite is 0. For me to get the medication from a pharmaceutical I need, it costs me over $2,500 a month. I can't afford this, and insurance won't pay it. I have been smoking marijuana now for 2 years. The marijuana stops my nausea. It also gives me the incentive to eat. I see that we've got a moratorium up, and like was said before, we've had a long time to get this in order. It's not been put in order because everybody's pushed it back to the back burner and laughed about it. And it's not a laughing matter for those of us who need it. The ones who don't need it, I have no pity for them or whatever happens to them. But us that do, it's a different story. We're getting our help through the marijuana dispensaries, which need the marijuana to give us what we need. I hope you'll consider this when you're giving your vote on the moratorium, because 45 more days is just going to lead to 10 more months and 10 more months, and we all know it. Thank you very much.
Sir, before you go, do you live in the city of Lake Elsinore?
No, I live in Bonsall, California.
So you don't live here. Okay, thank
No.
you, sir.
Does that make a difference?
Yes, it does. Thank
Okay,
you, sir.
thank you.
Thank you. Who's our next speaker?
The next speaker that I have is, thank you. Yes, Kathy.
Hi, my name is Kathy Tebow, and I also am a marijuana user.
Ma'am, can you state your name and address for the record, please?
I'll give you, my name is Kathy Tebow.
And
my address was optional.
The city you live in?
The
you don't
city
have to
I
give your
live in?
home address. Just
Okay, thank you. Fallbrook, California. Yes. And I was diagnosed with liver cancer, and the treatments were horrendous. I went and finally was able to get a recommendation from a physician, and then it was, they can't tell you where to go, and it was frustrating that, yes, I can have it, but where? Now you guys have the opportunity to give your people in your area the opportunity to have accessibility to a drug that can actually help them. I mean, I know it helps me. I'm not, out the side, we're not kids. We're sick people. And if we have a clean access that is not polluted with, the pesticides and whatnot, it's time. It's time in. And I'm wondering why there's even a consideration for a moratorium. Why isn't it already being done? You have a beautiful city, and I'm sure your people would definitely appreciate it. Thank you.
Madam City Clerk, who is our next speaker?
The next speaker is Oscar Gomez, and after Oscar Gomez, Robert Rydell.
Hi, Mr. Gomez. How are you?
How you fellas doing? Mayor, City Council members. I am from the city of Lake Elsinore. I live here, Tuscany Hills, beautiful houses, love the city. I understand where you guys are coming from, but this is the thing. You don't know what people are suffering, okay? I'm terminally ill. I don't look it, I am. You guys need paperwork, I'll give it to you guys, no problem. This is the thing, I need my medication. I started Compassionate Patients Association for the people, not to make money, not for the wrong reasons. I'm here to let you know that we do need this, but you should also be careful with people that ain't from the city, don't want to do this for the money, cartels, that's all fine. If you don't live in the city, you shouldn't have any business doing in the city. If you live in the city, then you should do it for the city. That's my personal opinion. Driver's license, you guys can check it out. I am from the city. That's for me. I moved here from Pomona. I've been living here for 2 years. Love the city. Honestly, I am trying to run as complete, as safe access for my patients. I do have a limitation 21. Most of my patients are terminally ill, have cancer, whatever the heck their doctor has said. I don't try to get the little youngsters and for procreation, but they go to the dispensaries. We service the people at their homes, safe access. That's what I'm about. If any questions, I'm here to answer them. You guys can ask away.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Who's our next speaker?
Next speaker is Robert Rydell, and after that would be Frank Burmo-Moen. I apologize for obviously mispronouncing your name.
I am Bob Rydell, and I'm not a homeowner here in Lake Elsinore, but I've been a business owner and a contributor to this town. These laws have been in effect for 13 years. And at the beginning of this meeting tonight, we all swore to the flag to uphold the Constitution and honor the laws that have been voted in by the people. By you implementing a moratorium, you're placing your own moral values and you're placing your own opinion on a matter you do not have the facts of, obviously. Now, a law is in place to protect these people and help them not to suffer. If that isn't important enough to keep the law there, don't vote.